Brendan Dassey trial transcript, day 1 continued, page 185, continued questioning of Agent Fassbender by Kratz. Okay. Another 3D rendition of the rear area or to the south of Stephen Avery's garage. Stephen Avery's garage right there, Stephen Avery's residence right there, and then a built-up mound of dirt and stone, and also a dugout portion of that mound to the south of the mound, which is what we call the burn area, doghouse, and the dog chain. I'm sorry, Agent Fassbender, I misspoke. This was Exhibit 69. Is that correct? Exhibit 69, that's correct. I'm sorry. And this also shows the burned out van or vehicle seat in it, isn't that right? Correct. Right to the right of the darkened area, which is the burn area, just outside of that, and on the edge of the elevated dirt area is that burned car seat. All right, now we're moving to Exhibit number 70. What is this? A different angle depicting the mound and the burn area, the car seat, Stephen Avery's garage, Stephen Avery's house. Exhibit 71, 3D rendition of the Yonda Dassey residence. You would be looking from above and to the east, looking west, the vehicle that was for sale, and I believe it was a Plymouth. The garage, Stephen Avery's house, and the burn area behind the garage, Stephen Avery's garage. Now, Trooper Austin was also able to do interior scene modeling. In other words, rip off the roof, if you will, of buildings and show you a bird's eye view of the inside of buildings. Is that correct? That's correct. I show you Exhibit number 72. Tell us what we're looking at here, please. This is where Trooper Austin made the roof disappear on Stephen Avery's residence, looking straight down or almost straight down into the residence to depict what the inside of the residence looked like or had in it. These included all of the rooms of the trailer. Yes, and even to the exterior, both exterior main doors as well as the sliding glass door towards the back. Is that right? That's correct. Now, some close-ups as to some of those rooms. One of the bedroom close-ups, which includes some firearms, that's Exhibit 73. Tell us what we're looking at. This bedroom is the bedroom located to the rear of Stephen Avery's residence or to the far south. This was Stephen Avery's bedroom, and the firearms mentioned are in a gun rack on the wall or the northern wall of that bedroom. So that the jury understands these depictions, even the interior depictions were taken by detailed measurements by Trooper Austin as well. Is that right? That's correct. A different view of that bedroom would be Exhibit number 74. Tell us what we're looking at, please. Same bedroom, Stephen Avery's bedroom, just a different angle. Here you can see a desk in the corner with a chair and a bookcase. Album holder is how it's been described along that east wall of the bedroom. And later this week, we're going to hear about how close Stephen Avery's bedroom door is to the exit door. That is the door that goes towards the garage. But could you just show us that with your laser pointer? Stephen Avery's entrance to his bedroom right here, the rear exit door, entrance door to his trailer right there, just a couple steps. Mr. Tyson, a deputy with the sheriff's department, tomorrow we'll talk about bleach being found, but can you tell us what Exhibit number 75 is? Exhibit 75 depicts the bathroom in Stephen Avery's trailer, which is located right next to or to the north of his bedroom. In that bathroom area, there's a laundry area right up in here where this box is and a shelf. There was empty bleach bottles seized off of that shelf. The last two images then include garage images. This is Exhibit number 76. Can you tell us what that is, please? This is Stephen Avery's garage with the roof disappearing and allowing us to see the inside of the garage. I might add that this is more of a cleaned up version of the inside of that garage. A lot of the clutter, there was much more clutter. A lot of the clutter is not here. And finally, Exhibit number 77. Tell us what that is, please. Stephen Avery's garage, different angle. The roof has been removed. The garage door is open or removed. And again, the clutter is not included, but it is accurate rendition of the inside of the garage. Now, evidence tents number 9 and 23, do you know what those depict? Yes, evidence tent number 9 toward the front of the garage depicts where a bullet fragment, a .22 caliber bullet fragment, was located in the crack in the cement of the floor of the garage. And then back here, the other evidence tent is where 23A is where a bullet fragment was also discovered underneath a air compressor in the back of the garage. These were searches on March 1 and 2 after Mr. Dassey's statement. Is that your understanding? That's correct. Agent Fassbender, you talked about an animation or that it was possible to depict or have Trooper Austin depict through animation what it is that he had shown in a 3D version. Have you been able to view that animation? Yes. I show that to the jury at this time. Oop, I'm sorry, that's the wrong animation. If you'd be so kind as this plays, Agent Fassbender, since the jury will not get a virtual tour or will not get a tour of the property, explain for the jury, if you will, what they are observing. Well, this would be essentially the aerial view of Stephen Avery's garage and residence. You're looking west to the east, and just at the bottom of the screen would be the roof to the Yonda Dassey residence. And we're moving toward the north and reducing altitude, coming around the front of the Yonda Dassey residence and showing the front of Stephen Avery's trailer. To the right, you can see the van where it was parked, the van that was for sale. Use your laser pointer if you feel it's necessary. The van right there, continuing, and he points out the van, the front of Stephen Avery's trailer. To left is the garage. Now we're approaching Stephen Avery's trailer, coming from the east, headed west. You can see a wraparound deck. There's also a pool in the back, and that's the main entrance door coming up over Stephen Avery's trailer to the top and looking down upon his residence. The roof is gone, and now we're looking into the living room of Stephen Avery's trailer. In the corner, there's a computer desk, TV, spare bedroom, bathroom, and Stephen Avery's bedroom. And that would be working north to south in his trailer. Again, just different angles of Stephen Avery's bedroom. Again, from an elevation looking down, Stephen Avery's garage, and again, the interior of the garage. There's a Suzuki Samurai parked in there, and a snowmobile also placed in the garage. Coming around to the rear, or to the south of Stephen Avery's garage, is that mound, built-up mound of dirt and stone I talked about. The doghouse, the chain, and the dog, and this dugout portion of that mound area, which was the burn area. Steel belts right there. The car seat, burned-out car seat, and a tire, which were all located at the scene. Just pulling away from that toward the southeast, more of a distance view of Steve's garage and residence, we would be essentially in the backyard of the Yonda Dassey residence right now. The 4 burn barrels I talked about earlier in the Yonda Dassey residence, or the Tadich now residence, associated with that residence were these 4 burn barrels. You can see the relationship between Stephen Avery's property and Mr. Dassey's property. Front, or the north of Stephen Avery's, to the north of Stephen Avery's trailer and garage. In the forefront of the rendition is Stephen Avery's burn barrel. Again, the relationship between all 3 items in the garage, the residence, and the burn barrel. Again, that was an animation created from those still photographs by Mr. Austin. Is that your understanding? That's correct. Exhibit number 78 marked for identification. The last Attorney Kratz. By the way, Judge, I should have the record reflect that the animation that has just been shown, I'm having marked as, at least for identification, as exhibit number 78. The court. Okay. Attorney Kratz. We'll be tendering that as well. Attorney Kratz. The last area of inquiry I have for you, Agent Fassbender, is a statement from Mr. Dassey. Although we're not going to be discussing the March 1 or earlier statements in November, I understand that you individually, that is, you alone, spoke to Mr. Dassey on February 27. Is that right? Myself and another DCI agent spoke with him, his mother and his brother, who was also present at that time. Where did that take place? At the Resort Motel in Mishicot, later in the evening. I think it was after 10 p.m. All right, on the 27th of February. By the way, this was 2006, is that right? That's correct. This was before the March 1 admissions were obtained from Mr. Dassey, is that right? It was on the evening of February 27. Would you agree that this was characterized as a witness interview? Yes. And at that time, was the topic of any bleach or bleach stains brought up? Yes, it was. Describe for the jury how that came up, please. Well, I received information about Mr. Dassey having some bleach stains on some jeans, and that being a result of cleaning Stephen Avery's garage floor. Acting on that information, I went to the motel where Mr. Dassey's mother and his brother were located, and I inquired about that. And Mr. Dassey advised that, yes, he had some jeans that he was wearing that evening, October 31, 2005, when he was assisting Steve Avery in cleaning up a garage. Steve Avery's garage floor, because it had some stains on it. When asked what he thought he was cleaning up and the color of those stains, he described them initially as dark red, but he believed that they were oil stains from some vehicles or such. Upon further speaking with him, he described the stains as red in color because the rags or the cloths they were using to clean up the stains appeared red on the cloths. When asked what he used to clean up the stains, he advised that they initially tried gasoline. That worked a little, and then they used paint thinner. And that may have worked a little more, he thought, and then ultimately they used bleach on the garage floor to finish the cleanup. He said that the rags they used to clean up the substance Stephen threw in the fire that was going behind in a burn area behind Stephen Avery's garage. And again, when asked about what he thought the substance was, if he thought it could have been blood, and he said, yeah, he thought it could have been blood, and said, when asked, what do you think to this date, which would have been February 27, he believed it to be blood. And so the jury understands, and I know that later in the week we'll hear of this, but that February 27 statement then caused you and Investigator Wiegert to re-interview Mr. Dassey 2 days later on the 1st of March. Is that correct? That was one of the things. Attorney Kratz, at this time, Judge, I will move the admission of Exhibits 15 through 78 and have no further questions of this witness at this time. Thank you. The court. Any objection, counsel? Attorney Freeman. I think just as to 78, there might be a second item on that hasn't been just that first overview that we saw. Attorney Kratz. There is a second animation, Judge, and if that is played, that will be identified and described through our anthropologist, Dr. Eisenberg, later this week, but I'm not offering it at this time. The court. You're offering the part of 78 that we've seen, which is the virtual tour. Attorney Kratz. Just the scene model. Yes, Judge. Attorney Freeman. With that, no objection. The court. All right. They're received. They'll be received then. Cross. Attorney Edelstein. Thank you, Your Honor. Cross-examination by Attorney Edelstein. Agent Fassbender, how long have you been employed with DCI? 22 years about. And prior to that, you were also a state employee as a trooper, is that correct? For 5 years, yes. Or state patrol, however you want to characterize it? Correct. Okay, now is it fair to say that from the perspective of who's in charge of this overall investigation, that became yourself as well as Wiegert from Calumet County, correct? That's correct. Prior to getting the phone call, as you indicated in your direct from your superior, you really didn't have much information about this incident. Is that right? That's correct, just from the media. Now, early on, you testified that by the time you arrived at the Avery property, quote, law enforcement had control of the property. Is that your understanding? Yes. And what time did you get there? Shortly after 2 p.m. And on what day? Saturday, November 5, 2005. Now, prior to that, law enforcement didn't necessarily have control of the property, correct? That's correct. In fact, there were individuals who were citizens who were kind of traipsing around there? Yes. Okay. And they were looking for any signs connected to Teresa. Is that a fair statement? To my knowledge, yes. Two citizens went to that salvage yard to obtain permission to look through it, yes. Okay, and in fact, they got permission from members of the Avery family, correct? Yes, Earl Avery. Who asked you to become, as you testified, the lead investigator? I believe Sheriff Poggle, Calumet County Sheriff. As you understood it, when you arrived and made your way down there by the RAV4, which I believe was depicted in exhibit number 23, no one had been inside of the vehicle, is that correct? No, the vehicle was found in a locked condition. So somebody tried to get in? I don't understand that. Not to my knowledge, no one tried to get in. How do you know it was locked? Somebody would have to check the door, would they not, to see if it was locked? You testified it's locked. How do you know that? One of the Sturms with one of the citizens that went on the property to look used a tissue to try the door handles, yes. Okay, so somebody did try to get in? Yes, I took it to mean an apparent effort to. That was physically visible. I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. And we've seen the photographs of what the RAV4 looked like when it was found. Who, if you know, was there guarding or securing the RAV4 when you showed up around 2 o'clock? I'm not sure who was guarding the RAV4 at that time. To my knowledge, you indicated, go ahead. The court. Well, let him finish. My knowledge was that Calumet County or Manitowoc County deputies initially did that, and then when Calumet County personnel got there, they took over. But I'm not sure of the exact time that the Calumet County deputy took over. I believe it was somewhere around between 2 and 3:30 by Attorney Edelstein question. But you don't have a specific recollection of whether it was Calumet or Manitowoc County or who was standing there when you got there as that. Is that what you're telling us? That's correct. All right. Now, you indicated that prior to anything happening with the RAV4, the lab people, and we're talking about your folks from your agency from Madison, were called, right? Yes. And they showed up, correct? Correct. And I believe you testified that the items around the RAV4, which you described as having been used to conceal it, were processed, correct? Examined might be a better term. Processed. Well, was it a visual examination only to your knowledge? That's correct.